UN Women has the mandate to ensure the achievement, the accelerated achievement of gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls. And we work in partnership with governments, member states of the UN, with civil society organizations, with women's organizations, women's movements, but of course also with youth. And with an increasing attention to new partners, men and boys, as advocates for gender equality, to other organizations that have a great influence on popular culture and on people's lives, faith-based institutions, political parties, musicians, artists. So of course what we're saying is that gender equality is a responsibility of everybody. The point is that gender equality has been an agreed upon principle and core component of human rights globally. It's affirmed in the Universal Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's been affirmed in all of the main human rights treaties, and of course also in the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, the CEDAW Convention. So it's a right secured internationally, regionally, but it's also a right secured in most national constitutions. The problem that we are seeing here is a problem of implementation. So many countries have made significant steps in passing laws, in eliminating discrimination in laws and policies, and also advancing policies across all the sectors, health, education, agriculture, rural development, wherever, to secure women's greater participation to advance gender equality and women's empowerment. But we're finding that there's been a lag, or what we call a deficit, in the implementation of those laws and policies. So here in the Pacific, in this CIDS conference, we are trying to bring attention to this implementation deficit and trying to bring attention to what is needed to secure implementation of all that has been agreed in laws and policies, both at national level but also regional and international level. What we've been doing is sort of reviewing the implementation of the MDGs, the Millennium Development Goals, and thinking those come to an end at 2015 as goals and targets. What happens after 2015? One of the reflections is that there are a number of reflections. So one, the agenda is unfinished. Of course, all of the MDGs in most parts of the world is an unfinished agenda, but particularly in gender equality, which is goal 3 of the MDGs, is very few countries have made significant progress in advancing women's political participation. So the global average of women in parliament is 22%, 2014, 22%. So we know we have not made significant progress, and everywhere violence against women is endemic and too high, everywhere. No matter the political structure, no matter the economic structure, no matter governance structure, no matter culture, violence against women is a common experience for women and girls everywhere. So we're saying at this moment of going on 2015, where we will be defining the new global agenda, the CIDS conference is an important step along the way. It allows us to do a few things. One, to reflect on the specificity of CIDS, on the specific strengths of CIDS, but also the specific vulnerabilities of CIDS. And within the vulnerability of CIDS, we're very, very vulnerable to external shocks and impacts, extreme climate events or weather events, global economic shifts, climate change. CIDS are vulnerable to things that they cannot control, which can in fact wipe out whole economies and cause a lot of destruction. So in the context of that vulnerability, we are also saying that women within that vulnerability also have another layer of vulnerability, which is based on inequality and lack of equality in representation to articulate their needs, even in the context of CIDS vulnerability. So I think that's one of the messages of women's organizations and human rights organizations that participated here, that women's voices must be heard to secure the greater resilience which CIDS need. And without women's voices and women's participation, we cannot get to resilience. It's impossible.